Assalamualaikum, dear madam and our fellow classmates. So me and my group mates are going to present on an important topic, which is t-test. As we know, t-test is one of the components that being used in the SPSS in order to test our hypothesis. So what is t-test? So t-test is a type of inferential statistic used to determine if there is a significant difference between the means of two groups. So in t-test, we are going to observe three types of values involved, which is the mean, standard deviation, and the number of data values of each group, or we call as n. To test hypothesis in a study, there is another test that being used, which is ANOVA, where instead of comparing data between only two groups, it compares data from more than two groups.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Hafiz, and we move to the assumption. What assumption that we have to our t-test data? The first one is scale of measurement. So we have nominal and ordinal. This is for this one, the nominal is categorical data, but the scale is the continuous data. So the assumption for t-test is that scale measurement apply to data collected that has been a continuous or ordinal scale, such as for in IQ test. So we see if we have this type of scale in our data, so that means we can proceed to the next part of assumption. The second one is simple random sample. Okay, our data must be collected from randomly selected of the population, no matter for the student. So you focus for the student, you get data for the student. And the third one is the normal distribution. Mean, median, skewness, p-plot, and others. If we have this, so that we can identify as the normal distribution. And the last one is the homogeneity of variance. What that mean? So the homogeneity of variance, when we say about homogeneity, it means equal, same. So for example, everybody loved apple according to the result, but no one of them was hit the apple. So that means that data was homogeneous. So we have scale of measurement. We have the second one simple random sampling, and the second one is normal distribution, and the last one we have the homogeneity of variance. So that means our assumption is complete.
Okay, so in t-test, for the first step is we need to write the hypothesis. Okay, for example, we are given a situation which where we want to determine if watching a video of a comedy with a laugh track is more enjoyable than watching a video without it. So there is two group here, which is laugh track group that watch the comedy with a laugh track, and another group is they watch the comedy without a laugh track. So there is two. So we need to write our null hypothesis and also our alternative hypothesis. So for the first one, we write the null hypothesis, and the null hypothesis is there is no statistically significant difference between no soundtrack group and the other group, which is soundtrack group. So here the key is we need to write statistically significant difference. Okay, and then for the alternative hypothesis, which is there is a statistically significant difference between no soundtrack group and soundtrack group. So here the keyword is statistically significant. Okay, that's all for step 1. So the second step is criterion, which is about the significant alpha. So the alpha value is 0.05. So in order to determine whether there is significant or not, there's any significant, we will see the p-value, whether the p-value is bigger than 0.05 or the p value is lesser than 0.05, which is bigger or lesser than alpha value.
Alright, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and I will show the step to run each of the pretest checklist, which is normality, homogeneity of variance, and also t-test. Alright, for the first step, to check the mean, mode, median, and also skewness and kurtosis, we go to analyze, and then descriptive statistics. Choose the descriptive. Descriptive, frequencies, and then we choose the variable. Actually, this data we take from the example from Microsoft Teams. So the variable for this data is energy. So we put the energy into the variable, and then go to the statistics buttons and choose all of this: mean, median, mode, standard deviation, variance, range, minimum, maximum, skewness, and kurtosis. Continue, and then for the histogram, we choose charts, and then tick the histograms, and don't forget to tick the show normal curve on histogram. Then continue, display frequency tables, and then just click OK. And here there are the frequencies of this data, and then this is the histogram for the data. Alright, moving on to the next one. For the p-plot, we go to analyze again, and then descriptive statistic, we choose p-plots, and then we put the variable again, energy, we put it here, and then just click OK. And here there are the normal p-plot of energy, which is from this data. Alright, for the next one, we will run the step of to find the homogeneity for this data. We go to analyze again, go to compare means, then we choose one way ANOVA. As you can see here, we put again the variable which is energy into the dependent list, and then for the factor we take the other variable, which is group, we put it here, and then don't forget to click options and click for the homogeneity, because we want to find the homogeneity. We click the homogeneity and then just click continue, and then click OK. And here we are. This is the test of homogeneity of variance for this data. And then for the last one, we want to run the t-test. Right, it is actually here, analyze, descriptive, Zul, mana t-test tu? Okay. Compare means, and then we go to independent sample t-test. Not one sample t-test, but we choose independent sample t-test. Right, click here, and then energy we put to the test variable, and then group, we put it in the grouping variable, and then we have to define the group. So from this data, there are two groups, which is no walking and walking. Then we just put the number of the variable, which is 1 and 2, and then just click continue. Alright, okay, and here we are. This is the data for the t-test. Alright, thank you. Moving on to the discussion of this data.
After complete the 4 assumption, we will run t-test in SPSS and need to decide p-value come up, whether it's bigger or smaller than alpha value, which is 0.05. If p-value bigger than 0.05, so the null hypothesis fail to reject, and if p-value smaller than 0.05, so the null hypothesis we reject. For example, based on the result of t-test show p equal 0.012, which bigger than 0.05, so it's mean fail, the null hypothesis fail to reject, and indicate our two group is same, because we can see from the group statistic the non-working group with means 81.23 and standard deviation 4.328, there is no statistically different from the other group, which working group, with the mean 82.60 and standard deviation 4.320. Okay.